Now, if you remember, at one point earlier, I talked about rooting basics in the setting up of the laboratory section. I'm sure you do. So in root, device data is at risk, including gaining access to personal information such as contact lists, emails, other data, or collecting data like credentials and passwords. So with a rooted device, a user or a malicious program can elevate their permissions to root and circumvent this protection, giving them access to other apps' private data. So in this lecture, we're going to look at the techniques used by Android developers in order to detect if a device on which the app is running is rooted or not. So you don't need me to tell you that there are probably a good number of advantages for an application to be able to detect if it's running on a rooted device or not. Most of the techniques we use to pen test an Android application require root permission to install various tools and hence compromise the security of the application. So why don't we begin with the most common techniques being used in the most popular applications, and that'll tell us if the device is rooted. Now, once a device is rooted, some new files may be placed onto the device. So checking for those files and packages installed on the device is one way to find out if a device is rooted or not. So superuser.apk, that's the most common package many apps look for in root detection. This application allows other applications to run as root on the device. So there are some specific applications which run only on rooted devices. So, of course, checking for those applications would also be a good idea to detect if the device is rooted. Here's one, for example, BusyBox. So you may have heard of BusyBox. It's an application which provides a way to execute the most common Linux commands on an Android device. The other technique is executing SU and ID commands and looking at the UID to see if it's root. Many developers search for specific package names related to the rooting of Android devices. PM, list packages. This is a command that lists packages that are currently installed on the device.